Preview.
The national debt saw a surprising decline of $102 billion between the 20th of January and the 27th of July 2017. True rating through Origin. On the 30th of July 2017, the conservative Truth Division website reported that the United States national debt had fallen to a surprising extent in the 7 months since the inauguration of President Donald Trump. President Donald Trump and his administration are undoing the government's rampant spending that occurred under former President Obama's watch. According to the U.S. Treasury's direct record, a surprising amount of money has been saved over the course of 7 months. On January 20th, the day Trump was inaugurated, the total debt was $19,947,304,555,212.49. On July 30th, 7 short months later, it's at $19,844,938,940,351.37. Overall, the debt has decreased by $102,365,614,861.12. We've checked these numbers and set them in context, and found that the national debt did indeed fall by $102 billion between the 20th of January and the end of July 2017. This decline is also historically remarkable, in both absolute and percentage terms. This 6-month fall in the national debt is also significant when measured against the size of the overall economy. National debt, the basics. The national debt is, in brief, the total value of what the federal government owes, and is made up of accumulated annual deficits when the government spends more than it receives in taxes and other income. It is made up of public debt and intergovernmental holdings. Public debt is, essentially, debt held by sources outside the central government. Intergovernmental holdings are debts between agencies within the federal government, in the form of government trust funds, such as Social Security trust funds. National debt, the numbers according to figures published by the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Services on the Treasury Direct website. The national debt was $19.84 trillion on the 27th of July 2017, not the 30th of July, as stated by Truth Division. On the 20th of January, it was $19.95 trillion. That is a fall of $102.37 billion, or 0.51%, over a period of 131 business days. To set that in context, we analyzed national debt data stretching back to the 12th of July 1993, and examined every 131-day period in the last 24 years. You can download a spreadsheet containing all the relevant data here. In dollar terms, the fall in the national debt since Trump's inauguration is the 16th biggest out of 6,032 similar periods since 1993. In percentage terms, it is the 143rd biggest decline out 6,032 similar periods. Debt-to ratio. The national debt, however, is best viewed with reference to the overall economy. If two countries have about the same national debt, the one with the smaller economy will likely be more constrained in its spending, whereas the larger economy, despite having the same level of debt, will be less impacted in terms of economic and fiscal policy. A good way of checking this is to compare the size of the debt to the size of the economy, measured as GDP, gross domestic product. GDP is the combined market value of all goods and services produced in a given jurisdiction, in this case, the United States. This comparison between the size of the national debt and the size of the economy is known as the debt-to ratio. While the Treasury Department publishes the national debt for every business day, GDP is only published on a quarterly basis once every 3 months. In order to compare the debt-to ratio on the 27th of July with the same figure on Inauguration Day, we have to get a little bit creative. For example, we know that the United States GDP was $18.9 trillion at the end of December 2016, the end of the fourth quarter, according to figures published by the Bureau of Economic Analysis. We also know that the national debt on the 30th of December 2016 was $19.98 trillion. So the estimated debt-to ratio on that date was 105.67%. In other words, the debts of the United States federal government were 5.67% bigger than the size of the United States economy measured by GDP. At the end of the first quarter of 2017, the end of March, GDP was $19.06 trillion. And we know that on the 31st of March, the national debt was $19.85 trillion, meaning the debt-to-GDP ratio was 104.14%, a healthier number than at the end of December. But to estimate GDP for all the days in between the 30th of December and the 31st of March, including the 20th of January, Inauguration Day, we have to cheat a little bit. You can read more about our methodology by downloading this spreadsheet, but here's what our estimates revealed. The national debt on the 20th of January was $19.947 trillion. GDP was an estimated $18.935 trillion. The estimated debt-to-GDP ratio on the 20th of January was 105.35%. The national debt on the 27th of July was $19.845 trillion. GDP was an estimated $19.272 trillion. The estimated debt-to-GDP ratio on the 27th of July was 102.97%. The debt-to-GDP ratio can therefore be estimated to have fallen by 2.25%, 2.37 percentage points in the 131-day period between the inauguration of Donald Trump and the 27th of July 2017. Conclusion: the Truth Division article accurately describes the extent to which the national debt fell between the inauguration of Donald Trump in January 2017 and the end of July. And it rightly describes this fall as surprising, since it ranks among the very largest 131-day declines in the national debt since July 1993, both in absolute and percentage terms. Similarly, the decline in both components of the national debt, public debt and intergovernmental holdings, was highly significant between the 20th of January and the 27th of July 2017, both in absolute and percentage terms, and as we've shown, the national debt has fallen by an estimated 2.25% since Inauguration Day, even when measured against the size of the overall United States economy. Whether or not any actions or decisions made by Donald Trump have caused or contributed to these historically remarkable declines in the debt, is a question that goes beyond the scope of this particular fact check. You can download a spreadsheet containing all the data relevant to this article here. Got a tip or a rumor? Contact us here. Sources: Bureau of Fiscal Services. Frequently asked questions about the public debt, treasurydirect.gov, the 1st of April 2016.